Mr. Dominick Lombardi, actually I should call you Dr. Lombardi, and you also work with Kemal Dervish, and from last time, I think it was the fall meetings, we had a nice interview, and now it's the spring meetings, spring annual meetings, and you've been joining the sessions. So far, what's your impression?
Yeah, last time we were talking about the European crisis,
Yeah.
and 6 months passed, and Europe is still dominating the agenda of these meetings, both at the G20 meetings that was held yesterday and the ministerial meetings that are occurring as we speak. There are two issues that are really attracting a great deal of attention from policymakers, central bankers from around the world who have gathered here in Washington. The first issue is clearly, the issue of how to strengthen the IMF financial firepower. And sometimes this is misinterpreted because even if the managing director is effective at gathering, at fundraising the whole of $400 billion plus,
Or more, yeah.
she has indicated in her speech at Brookings a few days ago, still the IMF wouldn't be a significant actor in the euro area crisis as far as ring-fencing Spain and Italy, because the IMF will still have inadequate resources to play a systemic role in those countries. So the idea about strengthening the IMF financial firepower is more about providing a backstop for the spillovers and negative consequences that might arise from a re-escalation of the euro area crisis for the rest of the global economy. So the IMF would serve as a backstop, especially in support of bystanders, in support of third countries which would be hit by the euro area crisis through, for instance, a slowdown in their exports to this systemically important market.
And they're talking about 400 billion, as you suggested, and more countries like China and other countries, Sweden, to be involved too. China is the biggest concern, actually, biggest name. But even though you're saying it can get bigger, still we need more support. Do you see Spain and Italy becoming even more trouble? And if yes, how so?
First of all, a few countries have already committed to provide extra resources to the IMF, and the Eurozone itself accounts for more than half of the commitments recorded so far. The Eurozone has in fact committed to $200 billion, and therefore that will be about half in the case the overall pot reaches 400 billion. But clearly, we have had a number of other countries who have followed up, but all the eyes right now are on China and the other BRICS, because analysts and Brazil and India and Russia, even Saudi Arabia and other oil exporting economies, because clearly these are surplus countries with lots of foreign reserve assets, and they're clearly in the best position to contribute to global financial stability. So far, they have not committed yet, and the reason is that they are trying to negotiate a very complex political game, whereby, in exchange for their commitment to top up the IMF resources, they will be given greater voting rights at the IMF, and this is really why they haven't. We haven't heard about their commitments yet, but nonetheless, those commitments might be forthcoming by the end of the week. But this is what the managing director is really trying to square the circle and try to negotiate a very complex, politically complex and intricate game.
But the worst case scenario, like we know that Brazil is refusing to be involved, and also even if they do, they say it's not enough. We're having Japan and Russia $10 billion bringing in, but is there hope at the end of the light? Is the situation hopeful or worse?
Clearly, whether or not this target is reached, that's not really going to be key to solving the euro area crisis. And as I have indicated, the IMF would still be unable to play a systemic role, especially if the larger sovereigns like Italy and Spain were to come under renewed pressure from markets. But really the key is, first of all, in the national economies of the euro area to move forward with their national efforts, national consolidation efforts. There have been important signs. In Italy, there is now a new government led by, a internationally recognized academic and technocrat. They have been pushing through reforms, but clearly this is a multi-annual, multi-year, multi-pronged process. And these efforts only started a few months ago. The crisis is going to be with us for quite a few years. But what is important is that these national efforts, which are there, no doubt that they are there, are then supported by enabling, euro area policy making effort, collective effort, including, of course, the key creditor countries, Germany in the first place. And the area is too integrated. Clearly, if there is a re-escalation of the crisis, no one would be left, not even the creditor countries. So this is why it's really important that the efforts of the highly indebted economies, the efforts of the weaker economies are then supported by an enabling euro area collective policy framework, including, of course, most importantly, the support from the European Central Bank.
And this wraps our conversation. And next time, I'll also give our best regards to Kemal Dervish. We know that you work together with him, and next time we would like to see him here too. Please give us our best regards and good luck. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.